Hi guys!
Welcome to Dear Stranger.
I'm your host Neema.
And I'm your host Jamila.
The best of the best.
The cream of the crop.
You got it, baby.
Take a look up in the mirror. You gotta see a little clearer. Who's that woman looking right back? And she's a beauty queen, bad.
Alright girl, before we start this episode, the first episode,
Yay.
I want to do like a check, a self-care check, a mental health check with you. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Can't complain.
No, like how are you really doing?
I have to think about that.
So the reason why I wanted to ask you that is because our goal is to be transparent. And I feel like it would be amazing for us to check in with each other every episode, as we do often in our daily life. And we want to encourage people to also do that with their friends, with their family, to always check in with people because you never know where they are in life.
So now it's my turn.
Whoop.
So how are you doing, girl?
Alright, so we're going to need like a bottle of wine, 3 days, maybe a month. No, I'm just kidding. Where I am in life right now, I would say I'm in a very great space. And it took a lot, as you know, because you've been part of my journey. And I'm so excited to start this podcast with you because I feel like you have been a great contribution to me being in this space right now in life.
Amen to that.
If you ask me like the beginning of this year, how was I doing? It wasn't pretty. But that's okay though, because that's the beginning of the year and we're here now, okay?
Yes.
But-
We're almost at the end of the year.
Oh my God, can you believe that already?
I know.
We're not here to play no games. We're gonna jump right into it and get right to all these different definitions that you guys might not understand what it means, like stigma. We want to talk about culture. We want to talk about everything, okay? We're not here to waste your time, so let's get into it. So stigma, what is this word stigma? Because for a long time I didn't know what that meant, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know what it means.
It's a set of beliefs and oftentimes unfair beliefs that a group of people have when it comes to something.
So like the stigma on mental health, like we were talking about, a lot of our culture, we want to mention Cape Verdeans particularly, but we're talking about all culture in general. A lot of times when you share with the Cape Verdean parent or Cape Verdean family, you tell them that you're going through something rough, they say, oh, que le brio. You'll be fine.
Or are you just looking for attention?
Yeah, it's just a phase. Girl, you're going to be good. No, it's not. I'm not going to be good. Like, you know, that's what we mean. Like, we want to break those stigmas.
But a lot of the times too, it's a generation, let's say, for lack of a better word, curse. That a lot of our parents, our grandparents, they don't know what mental health is. When they grew up on a certain ritual, then they bring it on to their kids. And then that's what we have to carry on to our kids. And our goal is to try to break that generational curse.
Absolutely. All right, I have a personal question for you, girl, okay?
Sure.
How has mental health affected you personally, if you don't mind sharing?
Not at all. There was a few years I was in a very, very dark place of my life. And if a lot of people out there, if you guys know me, you guys know I'm not much of a talker. So usually when you do have depression or when you're going through any mental health illness, talking is your key. So I kept everything to myself and I didn't let anybody in. Attempted a suicide at one point, which led me to be in a mental hospital for a few days. And that was one of the darkest places in my life. And while I was there, it gave me such a clarity of how important it is, my mental well-being, and what I needed to do in order for me to be able to get out of that dark hole in my life. And thankfully, gratefully, I'm here today because, I don't know, the higher power, God wanted me to be here today.
Absolutely.
So it has affected me in a lot of ways. And I'm not mental health free, per se, because oftentimes we get depressed and it's not something that's going to be cured forever. As long as you have the tools to work with and you know what to do when you're in that dark place, then you will be good. And that is our goal, to try to give you guys some of those tools. And so if you are dealing with any mental illness or anything related to mental health, that it could help.
Yeah, you actually said a lot of great points. One thing you mentioned was how quiet you were during that time. And I think that's like a lot of people, you know. A lot of people they freeze. The anxiety, the depression, it just freezes you and it pushes you back against the wall where you feel like, no, nobody wants to deal with my BS, because I know I felt like that. I don't want to bother Jamila. That's the last thing I want to do, you know. And that frozenness is not good, you know. And because when you freeze and you're alone, that's the worst place to be in, you know.
Sure is.
And we want to encourage you, if you're in that space right now, just find the one friend. Because if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit of the opposite of Jamila. I'm more vocal. Like, if you ask me how I'm doing, if I feel like crap, I'm going to let you know. You know, I'm going to let you know. And I remember I texted Jamila and I was like, Jamila, like a couple times that I was down and under. I was like, I don't feel it. Like, I don't feel myself. I feel so depressed. I feel so low. And I myself, I ended up going into the mental hospital. Jamila submitted me to the damn mental hospital, okay?
I had to.
No, it was that bad. Like, she had to. And it was a very crazy experience for me. But because she had already gone through it, she knew that it would help me in return. At first, when I got there, girl, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, she got me like up in this crazy place. It was tough.
It is in the first couple days. And then when you do realize what you went in there to do and why you're in there, that's when it starts to click.
So let me ask you.
At least for me.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, because for me in that moment, I felt like, damn, like, this is not the place I wanted to be. How, like, for the people that are looking to reach out for help, that are in, like, such a low point in their life, like, what would you say is the first step they should do? Like, what are some pointers? Because I want to reflect what I did when I was in that space and when you were in that space, right? How can we help those that are in that space right now, or like feel like they're going down to that space right now?
And I think the first step that anybody should take is have a self-reflection, and reflect on everything that you're going through, that's going on in your life, and then make a list. And the top 3 people that's on your list are your go-tos.
Yeah.
So, and reach out to that person. And it has to be people that you know knows about mental health, knows about like depression, knows about anxiety, knows about suicidal ideation, and so on and so forth. And that is going to be able to talk you out of that. There's always, if you're feeling suicidal, there's always the 1-800 suicide line that you can call. You can text them. They'll text you back, and they'll be able to like help you. But like reach out to people. That's your passport out.
Yeah. And also, I'm gonna shift it and make it super personal, because in the same breath we're telling you to reach out for help, we understand, like we said earlier, it's not easy to reach out for help.
It's not.
You know, a lot of people don't want to, but we encourage you, like, highly, to reach out for help. Mental health is very deep for me, because I feel like I felt in that hole when Heather passed away, and like right after my other cousin Junas passed away. And Jamila was such a great resource, because when Heather was going through it, I had no idea. We had no idea as a family. Well, at least I don't think. And she was the first person I reached out to, because you do work in the mental health field, right? Do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like I mainly right now, my focus, I've been working with the population, the addiction field. So like guys and girls with addiction to like drugs and alcohol. But I've also like had experience working in the mental health hospital and did counseling for a few days. So I'm actually a licensed mental health worker and a licensed addiction counseling.
Yeah.
So I've had, like I said, experience, and I also have book experience to share with you guys.
She's smart, okay? She knows what she's doing.
I tried.
Yeah. So it was just good to be able to reach out to Jamila because I, for once, I didn't know. I was so naive and I was so, I don't want to use the word dumb. Like, what would be a better word? Like, not educated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part where I say not a lot of people want help because when we tried to help Heather, she didn't want the help. And that's when we froze. I froze at least. Because Jamila gave us a list of things to do and to help her, and we really didn't know how to help her. And I know that there are some people in your lives that may not know how to help you guys. So we're just here to kind of, give you tips. And it sucks because being on the other side, like I'm going to switch it from the side where we're the victim. I don't want to say victim because victim is not the right word, right? When
Where
we were the person going through the yeah. And then being on the other side where we're the helper, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't know what to do.
Yes, it's extremely hard to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times it comes down to like accepting the fact that you do have a problem.
Yep.
Again, the self-reflection comes into place.
Mm-hmm.
I need help. I hit rock bottom. I'm at that place in my life where I need help and where to go to and who to reach out, even if it's somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes talking to another person can make you feel better. It can lead you from like having like a suicidal ideation to, okay, I'm feeling a lot better right now. I'm not at the point where I want to commit a suicide, where I want to kill myself, where I want to hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
So talking, reaching out to people is the key. And like I was saying, let me piggyback from realizing that you do have a problem.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part, to accept that you have a problem, especially in our community, our Cape Verdean community.
Because you know what it is sometimes? It's also like you don't want people to shame you.
Yes.
Because you start feeling like you're I don't want to use the word disgrace, like it's a shame, like
it's a shame in the family,
like
you're bringing shame into the family, but that's not what it is. It's sometimes our mothers, our grandparents, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, they all live with depression, anxiety, and they hide it because like they think it's a disgrace to the family. But it's really not. It's all about understanding. Oftentimes, we as parents, like I said, we were taught by our parents to keep quiet. And we often do it with our kids. And we tend to be like, oh no, he or she is just looking for attention. But that's not what it is. It leads them to start smoking. It leads them to start drinking.
Doing reckless behaviors.
Yes, and that's where, as a parent, we have to say that is a crying out for help. That's what our kids are doing. We have to be able to see those signs before it's too late. Like for a lot of us, I know sometimes in a family, they were like, oh no, she is a brilho, and they usually let you be, and you end up committing a suicide. And now what? Now you have a room
it's a
full
crisis.
Yes, now you have a room full of people crying, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. Instead of should have, do it now that you have time. Do it now that you have that person. Reach out to somebody in your life that you know is dealing with a lot.
Like Jamila said earlier, think of at least one person you could call. Like, anybody that comes to your mind. Give them a call, like send a sweet text. I try to do that often myself to whoever God puts in my heart to send out a message to. I don't know, I always like to customize my text and make it super sweet and like uplifting and encouraging, and I always get great response back. It's not always that we have time to cater to everybody because we're not superwoman, and and I know that I'm going to take accountability now to say that I don't always check in with my friends because I know sometimes
Same
I don't
here.
check in with you, you know? And Jamila made such a awesome statement one time to me where she was looking out for a therapist. Remember, you was looking out for a therapist, and you made this and it stuck to me because you said, I take care of everyone and I'm always there for everyone. And in return, you were like, well, who's there for me?
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, oh my God. She's so right, because you've been there for me. You've been there since from the beginning from a lot of people in our families. And I'm like, damn, she's right. Like, who is there for her? And that's when I kind of like, I step back and I'm not going to lie. I'm like, okay, I'm not being the best like cousin, sister, friend I could be to you, because for you to say that, that means you don't have a strong support system right now.
Yeah,
right?
and of like I said in the beginning to you guys, I can have all these degrees, but a therapist also needs a therapist.
You know what? That's what my therapist told me. She's like, I got you. I'm your therapist, but I also got a therapist. My therapist got a therapist. I said, yeah, we are
So
cuckoo.
we do, because we internalize a lot of things, and
Yes,
at the end of the day, we need to let it out. We need to decompress.
Absolutely. You would say that you ended up getting a therapist.
Yes.
How's that going for you?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's good to go sit down for an hour and just decompress. You're talking about like your therapist is neutral. They don't tell you what to do with your life. They're just there to listen to you, to guide you, to give you the tools to get out of what it is that you're going through.
And that's another big thing in the culture, is that if you need a therapist, that means you're crazy. Like, you're
you're crazy.
You're crazy. Like, you don't got it all together. But having a therapist, like, y'all, look at me for a second. Having a therapist is completely okay. That is the right thing to do. You're not cuckoo. You're not crazy. It's okay to have a therapist. Because let me tell you, if it wasn't for my therapist,
I don't know. I don't know where we would have been in life.
I don't know. The cuckoo I would be. That's another thing we have to break, thinking that it's not okay to have a therapist.
Yes, it's one of those stigmas we were talking about.
Break them.
Yes, make it okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like saying, I hear people saying it's okay not to be okay.
Period.
There's always going to be that voice in the back of your head that's going to tell you, no, don't do it, don't go through it, but you know what you need. Deep down, you know what you need. Again, self-reflection comes into play. Reach out if you're suffering from anything. Depression, if you feel like you have no way out, if you feel like you're in a dark hole that you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, just reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. I'm here.
She's absolutely right, and I'm here for you guys too. And cause that dark hole, it ain't pretty. Let me tell y'all, I'm gonna be very transparent, because that's what we're here to do, okay? Y'all, when I hit my rock bottom, I was in bed for like a week. Y'all, I was drowning myself in alcohol.
Yeah.
I had bottles after bottles. I would wake up, just drown myself, numb myself to the point where I can't feel anything, black out, go to bed, wake up, didn't shower for 3 days. Like, I hit it. Like, rock bottom was it for me. And I don't wish that for nobody. I don't wish to go back there. And I could understand that where there's no strength there. Because all you see is darkness. That's literally it. And that's not even me. Like, when I got there, I was like, what the heck? Like, how? Why? You know, how do you shake this feeling off?
It's hard, but it's a lot of work that you need to put into place. You need to have a support system, somebody to reach out to. That is what's going to get you out of that dark hole.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to see that itty bitty light at the end of the tunnel. Like, okay, I see it. I'm going to reach out for it. I'm getting there. Even if you get there by crawling, you're going to end up walking, and then pretty soon you're going to start running to that light.
And also, like, if you have a friend that's going through like a space like that right now in their life, one thing that I could say to do too also is sometimes you could just be there just to hold space for someone. You know, you might not even have to say anything. You could just be there to drink some water with them. I don't know, read a book, go for a walk. Because I remember when I used to be in that space, I'm like, damn, all I need is a hug right now, you know? All I need is somebody to look at me in the face and tell me, like, girl, everything is gonna be okay. This too shall pass, you know? I just needed somebody to eat some ice cream with me. I don't know, pull me off the bed, push me, go, throw me in the shower. Like, I just didn't want to be alone. Even though, like, you want to be alone, because
But you don't at the same time.
Yeah.
You know your friends, you know your family. And especially if it's family, you grew up with certain people, you know their character, you know how their attitude is, and you know their mood. So if you know somebody, then you know that person is not okay. Just reach out. Even if that person is okay, maybe they're just having a bad day, but reach out. Even when I'm having a bad day, I want to be able to have somebody just to, I don't know, just give me a hug,
Right.
or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be like, oh, I'm going through depression, or I'm going to a mental crisis at this moment. It can just be simple as, I'm having a bad day. But just let's make it okay to reach out to people, to reach out to our loved ones, our friends, and say, I'm here for you, or if you need anything, I'm here. I know we all have our lives, we have our family, our jobs, and a lot of the times we have no time.
Yeah.
But it takes literally 1 minute or even seconds to send a message to somebody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never know what that other person is going through, and receiving that message saying, are you okay? Is everything okay? I'm here for you. You never know, you can change somebody's life.
So obviously trauma starts somewhere, right? We already told you how to hold space for somebody, how to be there for somebody, but the point is to pinpoint where that trauma came from, right? For me, it started in my childhood, and I didn't even know that. It affected my whole entire life until recently with my therapist, going through my whole life event, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that when I got molested as a child that it created a trauma.
It does.
And depression started rolling in. I looked at a picture of myself that my cousin sent me. That picture as a child, if I can find it, I'll put it on the screen. I looked depressed. I looked like life was sucked out of me. My trauma started as a child, and then it led to my adult, which then manifested into depression. Okay? And it's crazy because when you talk about taking self accountability, right? That's what you said earlier. That's what we have to do. Dig into that inner child. Sometimes you just really have to dig deep in, you know, because we're here now. I'm 32 and you're 36. And we're like, oh, I'm depressed. It didn't just, you know,
it's something that builds up. You can go through trauma from when you were like 4 years old, and it can carry you through your adult life, and it affects you at your 30s, sometimes at your 40s, sometimes even 50, and you don't know why, and you're like, why am I feeling this way now? Why is this thing triggering me? But you need to be able to like do a self-reflect, and in order for you to do that, you need to work on yourself. Self-care is the best care. Journaling
is so good. Write it down, like, you know, and reflect. But you have to be ready to be really honest with yourself. When it's like, it's not like, oh my God, like a pity party, like, oh no, I'm ashamed. You really have to be honest with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror, because you deserve that. That's the only way you're gonna heal, is to start being honest with you first.
Yes. And you need to be able to say, okay, this is what's affected me. And it might take quite some time. If you're like me, I don't journal on a paper journal.
Yeah.
I do it on, they have a lot of apps for journaling. Download some of them.
Yeah.
Use it. They have journaling for like Black women.
Remember when I was at the mental hospital, you gave me I say it so casually, but yo, listen, Jamila gave me, it was 365 days of journaling?
Yeah.
Amazing. That was a good one. I didn't finish it yet, and I stopped. That's the journey sometimes. You have to stop. Life happens, you know?
Life happens.
You continue, but find something.
If you're at a point where you're not getting out of bed. You feel like there's no, I have no purpose in life.
Yeah.
Get up. Your life matters. You might not think of it that way, but it does. Like, I know when I was going through it, people said to me, think of your kids, think of your family. And at that point, you're not thinking about nobody. You're not thinking about your kids.
You're selfish. You're
Yes.
just thinking about you.
And you're only thinking about you. And that it's okay.
It's okay.
But it's not okay at the same time, because when we're that selfish, that means we don't care about anybody but ourselves. We don't even care about ourselves at that point.
And you're not making logical decisions
Yes.
that's going to benefit you.
When I was going through it, I was in a very dark place in my life, and I put my kids in the bus for school, and I went up. I took a whole bottle of I think it was a
Girl,
Tylenol.
you're getting deep because my
I think it was
backflashes
Tylenol
are...
PM or something that I took,
Oh.
and I took a whole bottle. It probably had like 60 pills inside of it. I took a whole bottle, and when I started feeling sick, I reached out to that one friend. I said, "This is what I did," and it's either you gonna go through it, or you're gonna have that instant, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And you're gonna reach out to somebody. So don't get to that point. And that person was the one who called the ambulance, and they got to me on time. So
God.
I could have not been here today, but I'm here to tell you guys like my journey, my experience. For like I said, firsthand, I lived it, been there, done that, and we all go through depression.
Yeah.
And I needed to dig deep into like, why is it I do certain things?
Yeah.
And sometimes we tend to hurt people that loves us the most, and we don't realize why we do it.
Yeah.
That is when therapy comes into play.
Yeah.
And to break down those things, because I can tell you right now that my trauma is what led me to like a lot of failed relationship.
Yeah.
And
But sometimes people don't understand that though. You know, they're just like, "Oh, you're just hopping around." No, honey, I really truly don't know what love is.
yeah, and
I really don't.
sometimes we don't, like sometimes people tell you like, "Oh, why is it that you keep doing certain things to jeopardize your family, your relationship with your friends?"
Like you want to.
It's not. Just know that there's a reason behind it, and you just need to figure that out. I was at a loss for so long, and I needed to work through it, and I needed to be honest with myself in order for me to be able to jump that fence and say, okay, I'm on the opposite side now, and here's what I'm gonna do moving forward, so I don't jeopardize my relationship with
marriage.
my kids, my marriage, and my family in general. So
Girl, speak to me. Talk
it's
to me, girl.
very important that we do. And another thing too, we need to be able to forgive. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things
Oh, forgiveness is for
for you,
not for the
not
other
for the
person.
other person.
No.
So you need to be able to forgive that person, to say, I forgive you for doing this to me. You don't have to talk to that person ever again. But you need to be able to let that person know, I forgive you, but I am not going to, like, I'm forgiving you for me.
Do you think that's forgiveness though? Like if you forgive but you never talk to them again?
It's not that you never
How do
talk
you-
to them again.
Okay.
It's like you can see that
There's a space.
person walking. You're not going to have a relationship with that person.
Right.
Because that relationship is already broken.
Right.
It's just like getting a glass, a glass cup.
Yeah, like breaking
and
and
you
try to
break
drink it.
You can't put all the pieces back
Yeah.
together. You
Yeah.
can see that person, you can say hi to that person,
What up, gang?
but that there is no relationship there, and that is okay. You don't have to have a relationship with it.
Boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Create boundaries. And also one thing that you mentioned about forgiveness was you said to forgive other people, but a lot of times we have to forgive ourselves, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
You got to look in the mirror and forgive yourself, because that's something that I had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to forgive myself, because when I started doing my inner child healing and healing from childhood trauma, I noticed that when I became an adult, I was doing behaviors that would jeopardize. Sorry, is that the right word
Yeah.
to say? Jeopardize myself. And I'm like, damn, Naima, like, why are you doing this? Like, you know, and that's where the hurt was coming from. Like, I was always a people's pleaser.
Yes.
And at the cost of myself. And when I started therapy with Niall, that's when I learned, like, I need to forgive myself for not choosing me and always choosing other people before me. And that was big healing for me.
Yeah, the healing journey is going to be a long journey. In order for you to start that journey, you need to be able to have the root and acknowledge and say, I have a problem. I need help.
Yeah.
So reach out. Like I said in the beginning, reach out to me. I can at least help you, and I can at least guide you into the direction that you need to get to.
Give suggestions for therapists, you know, like tips on how to, like, you know, just get out of bed, you know.
Yeah. And don't listen to that voice, or don't listen to other people saying, oh, no, it's just attention you're looking for. It's not that. You're doing whatever it is, behavior that you're showing is because you're trying to mask something else. And
or maybe sometimes also, Ja, is crying out for help. But that's your way of crying out for help is doing certain behaviors.
Yeah.
You know, to get people's attention. You know?
And sometimes we do something drastic to call out for attention, to say, like, can you just look at me?
Right.
Can you just hear me out?
Right.
But again, it takes the right person. If the person doesn't know, like a lot of our family, a lot of like older family in our generation, they don't know what mental health illness looks like. And like Naima had said in the beginning, it's a shame to the family. So they minimize it and they don't look at it as a problem. But it is a problem.
Big one. Yeah. Girl.
I think we did.
Oh, Jamila got me over here talking about my issues and stuff. Girl, we still healing.
We all did, yeah.
I need you to take it slow. Okay? Well, we want to make sure that we make this so personable and relatable to you. So please, if you can let us know any topics that we can talk about, anything that you guys are curious to hear our opinion on, please reach out to us. Comment below. Let us know.
Drop it down.
Yeah, drop it down in the comment.
And
down low.
So like the first episode, we wanted to kind of like talk about the basics of mental health. So the next time we do a podcast, the theme is going to be about trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma related. We're going to be talking about the traumas and how it affects us and in our daily life.
Yeah.
And how it affects us in the long run, and how it's going to affect us until we die, until we're no longer here.
Yeah. And traumas a lot of time puts you in a standpoint where you're shushed, you know. And we want to link everything together. Obviously, there's no like right way to do it because there's just so much to trauma, depression. It just, you know, it's a lot. But definitely trauma, and definitely we want to start at the root, which is childhood, because that's where it started for us, you know. You know, coming from a third world country and living life there, and we definitely don't want nobody shushing. That's why we're here. We're not here to be messy. We're not here to start no drama, but we're definitely here to help you, give you like a little backbone to stand up for yourself and know that certain behaviors are not okay.
Yes.
And
even if the family says it's okay, no, it's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
Being molested, being raped, being touched, it's not okay. And in the family, sometimes they try to shush you. Sis, we ain't shushing.
Yeah, we ain't shushing, because guess what? A 3-year-old, because that's the age I was, a 3-year-old should not be knowing what a what is a what, you know? And to have your childhood pretty much destroyed or taken away from you at a 3-year-old, you don't live as a child anymore after that experience happens to you. your whole life changes from there on. I don't remember my life in Cape Verde at all. I have dreams about my life in Cape Verde, and then I reflect. I'm like, did that really happen? That's how traumatic my life in Cape Verde was. But yeah,
So
speak
we're
up.
going to be talking about all of that and a little more on our next episode.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
Also, guys, just so you know, the full episodes of the podcast are going to be listed on the YouTube. You can find the link in our profile. Please make sure you subscribe because we really want to do this for the long run. We want to be able to bring in guests. We want to talk about any and everything that you guys need us to talk about. We want to help women heal. That's my heart. I just love beautiful ladies. Like, oh.
And we also want to talk about sex addiction because that is a thing. So we're going to be bringing in guests.
Yes.
And how your trauma led to you being a sexual addict, because that is a thing. So stay tuned.
We just want to talk about everything. We
Yes,
want to bring in the specialists. We really want to inform y'all so we can heal as a culture and we can heal individually, sis, because you deserve to live a good life.
Yes, you do.
We really appreciate all of your support. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you guys.
So stay tuned for our next episode. We're looking forward to your likes, your comments, your dislikes. Give us all the feedback.
Yes. Good and
you want to
bad.
give it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Give it to us. All
Because
right?
we want to get better for y'all.
Yes.
Love you guys. I love you, girl. Thanks. We're done. Cut.